Hello, family. God bless you all. Hope everyone's doing well. We left off at chapter 3 of the book of Jubilees, the little Genesis, as Moses is receiving information of how life began and the creation began. Chapter 3. On the sixth day of the second week, according to the word of God, we brought to Adam all the beasts and all the cattle and all the birds and everything that moves on the earth and everything that moves in the water, according to their kinds and according to their types, the beast on the first day, the cattle on the second day, the birds on the third day, and all that moves on the earth on the fourth day, and that moves in the water on the fifth day. And Adam named them all by their respective names. As he called them, so was their name. On these 5 days, Adam saw all these, male and female, according to every kind that was on the earth. But he was alone and found no helpmate. The Lord said to us, "It is not good that the man should be alone. Let us make a helpmate for him." And the Lord our God caused a deep sleep to fall on him, and he slept. And he took from Adam a rib from among his ribs for the woman. And this rib was the origin of the woman. And he built up the flesh in its place, and built the woman. He awakened Adam out of his sleep, and on awakening, he rose on the sixth day, and he brought her to him. And he knew her, and said to her, "This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called my wife, because she was taken from her husband. Therefore shall man and wife become one, and therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and cling to his wife, and they shall be one flesh." In the first week, Adam was created, and from his rib, his wife. In the second week, God showed her to him. And for this reason, the commandment was given to keep in their defilement. A male should be purified in 7 days, and for a female twice 7 days. After Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, we brought him into the Garden of Eden to till and keep it. But his wife we brought in on the 8th day, and after this she entered into the Garden of Eden. And for this reason, the commandment is written on the heavenly tablets in regard to her that gives birth. If she bears a male, she shall remain unclean for 7 days, according to the first week of days. And 33 days shall she remain in the blood of her purifying. And she shall not touch any holy thing, nor enter into the sanctuary, until she completes these days which are decreed in the case of a male child. But in the case of a female child, she shall remain unclean 2 weeks of days. According to the first 2 weeks, the 66 days in the blood of her purification, and they will be in all 80 days. When she had completed these 80 days, we brought her into the Garden of Eden, for it is holier than all the earth. Besides, and every tree that is planted in it is holy. Excuse me. Therefore, there was ordained regarding her who bears a male or a female child the statute of those days, that she should touch no holy thing, nor enter into the sanctuary until these days for the male or female child are completed. This is the law and testimony that was written down for Israel, in order that they should observe it all the days. In the first week of the first Jubilee, Adam and his wife were in the Garden of Eden for 7 years, tilling and keeping it. And we gave him work, and we instructed him to do everything that is suitable for tillage. And he tilled the garden, and was naked, and did not realize it, and was not ashamed. He protected the garden from the birds and beasts and cattle. He gathered its fruit and ate, and put aside that which was left over for himself and for his wife. After the completion of exactly 7 years there, and in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, the serpent came and approached the woman. And the serpent said to the woman, "Has God commanded you, saying, 'You shall not eat of every tree of the garden'?" She said to it, "God said to us, 'Of all the fruit of the trees of the garden, eat. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, God said to us, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, or you shall die.'" The serpent said to the woman, "You shall not surely die. God does not know that on the day you shall eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be as gods." God does know that on the day you shall eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be as gods, and you will know good and evil. And the woman saw the tree that it was beautiful and pleasant to the eye, and that its fruit was good for food. And she took of it and ate. First, she covered her shame with fig leaves, and then she gave the fruit to Adam, and he ate. And his eyes were opened, and he saw that he was naked. He took fig leaves and sewed them together, and made an apron for himself, and covered his shame. God cursed the serpent, and was very angry at it forever. And he was very angry with the woman, because she listened to the voice of the serpent and ate. And he said to her, "I will vastly multiply your sorrow and your pains. In sorrow you will bring forth children, and your master shall be your husband, and he will rule over you." To Adam also he said, "Because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you not to eat, cursed be the ground for your sake. Thorns and thistles shall it produce for you, and you will eat your bread in the sweat of your face, until you return to the earth from where you were taken. For earth you are, and to earth will you return." And he made for them coats of skin, and clothed them, and sent them out from the Garden of Eden. On that day on which Adam went out from the garden, he offered as a sweet odor an offering, frankincense, incense, and sweet spice, and spices in the morning with the rising of the sun from the day when he covered his shame. On that day was closed the mouth of all beasts, and of cattle, and of birds, and of whatever walks, and of whatever moves, so that they could no longer speak. For they had all spoken one with another, with one dialect, and with one language. All flesh that was in the Garden of Eden, he sent out of the Garden of Eden. And all flesh was scattered according to its kinds, and according to its types, to the places that had been created for them. Of all the beasts and cattle only to Adam alone, he gave the ability to cover his shame. Because of this, it is prescribed on the heavenly tablets as touching all those who know the judgment of the law, that they should cover their shame and should not uncover themselves as the Gentiles uncover themselves. On the new moon of the 4th month, Adam and his wife went out from the Garden of Eden, and they dwelt in the land of Eldah, in the land of their creation. And Adam called the name of his wife Eve. And they had no son until the first Jubilee. And after this, he knew her. Now he tilled the land as he had been instructed in the Garden of Eden. Chapter 4. In the 3rd week, in the 2nd Jubilee, she gave birth to Cain. And in the 4th week, in the 4th Jubilee, she gave birth to Abel. And in the 5th Jubilee, she gave birth to her daughter Awan. In the 1st year of the 3rd Jubilee, Cain killed Abel because God accepted the sacrifice of Abel and did not accept the offering of Cain. And he killed him in the field, and his blood cried from the ground to heaven, complaining because he had killed him. The Lord blamed Cain because he had killed Abel, and he made him a fugitive on the earth because of the blood of his brother, and he cursed him on the earth. Because of this, it is written on the heavenly tablets, "Cursed is he who kills his neighbor treacherously," and let all who have seen and heard say, "So be it." And the man who has seen and not reported it, let him be accursed as the one committing it. For this reason we announce when we come before the Lord our God all the sin that is committed in heaven and on earth, and in light and in darkness, and everywhere. And Adam and his wife mourned for Abel 4 weeks of years. And in the 4th year of the 5th week, they became joyful. And Adam knew his wife again, and she gave birth to a son, and he called his name Seth. For he said, God has raised up a second offspring to us on the earth instead of Abel, for Cain killed him. In the 6th week, he begat his daughter Azurah. And Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his wife, and she gave birth to Enoch at the close of the 4th Jubilee. Now, that's not the Enoch I was just reading about. That is Cain's son, Enoch. In the first year of the first week of the 5th Jubilee, houses were built on the earth, and Cain built a city and called its name after the name of his son Enoch. Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she gave birth to a total of 9 sons. In the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee, Seth took Azurah, his sister, to be his wife. And in the 4th year of the 6th week, she gave birth to Enos. He began to call on the name of the Lord on the earth. In the 7th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Enos took Noam, his sister, to be his wife. And she gave birth to a son in the 3rd year of the 5th week. And he called his name Kenan. Each week is 7 years. 7 weeks is 1 Jubilee. 7 years is 1 week. 7 weeks is 1 Jubilee. At the close of the 8th Jubilee, Kenan took Maulilith. Kenan took Maulilith, his sister, to be his wife, and she gave birth to a son in the 9th Jubilee. In the 1st week, in the 3rd year of this week, and he called his name Mahalalel. In the 2nd week of the 10th Jubilee, Mahalalel took to him to wife Dinah, the daughter of Barakil, the daughter of his father's brother. And she gave birth to a son in the 3rd week in the 6th year, and he called his name Jared. For in his days, that's Enoch's father, Jared. For in his days, the angels of the Lord descended on the earth, those who are named the Watchers, the bad ones, that they should instruct the children of men, and that they should do judgment and uprightness on the earth. In the 11th Jubilee, Jared took to himself a wife, and her name was Barakah, the daughter of Rasul, the daughter of Rasul, a daughter of his father's brother. In the 4th week of this Jubilee, she gave birth to a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year of the Jubilee, and called his name Enoch. And that's the Enoch of our bloodline. He was the first among men that are born on earth who learned writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of heaven according to the orders of their months in a book, that men might know the seasons of the years according to the order of their separate months. He was the first to write a testimony, and he testified to the sons of men among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the jubilees, and made known to them the days of the years, and set in order the months, and recounted the Sabbaths of the years as we made them known to him. And what was and what will be, he saw in a vision of his sleep, as it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. He saw and understood everything and wrote his testimony and placed the testimony on earth for all the children of men and for their generations. In the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week of it, he took to himself a wife, and her name was Edna, the daughter of Dano, the daughter of his father's brother. And in the 6th year, in this week, she gave birth to a son, and he called his name Methuselah. He was with the angels of God these 6 jubilees of years, and they showed him everything that is on earth and in the heavens, the rule of the sun, and he wrote down everything. And he testified to the watchers who had sinned with the daughters of men, for these had begun to unite themselves so as to be defiled with the daughters of men, and Enoch testified against them all. And he was taken from among the children of men, and we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honor. And there he wrote down the condemnation and judgment of the world, and all the wickedness of the children of men. Because of it, God brought the waters of the flood on all the land of Eden, for there he was set as a sign, and that he should testify against all the children of men, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of condemnation. He burnt the incense of the sanctuary, even sweet spices acceptable before the Lord on the mount. For the Lord has 4 places on the earth: the Garden of Eden, the Mount of the East, and this mountain on which you are this day, Mount Sinai, and Mount Zion, which will be sanctified in the new creation for a sanctification of the earth. Through it will the earth be sanctified from all its guilt and its uncleanness throughout the generations of the world. In the 14th Jubilee, Methuselah took to himself a wife, Edna, the daughter of Azrael, the daughter of his father's brother. In the 3rd week, in the 1st year of this week, and he begat a son, and called his name Lamech. In the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Lamech took to himself a wife, and her name was Betanos, the daughter of Barachiel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in this week she gave birth to a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, "This one will comfort me for my trouble and all my work, and for the ground which the Lord has cursed." At the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 6th year of it, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation. And he was the first to be buried in the earth. He lacked 70 years of 1,000 years, because 1,000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens. Therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, "On the day that you eat of it, you shall die." Because of this, he did not complete the 1,000 years, but instead he died during it. At the close of this Jubilee, Cain was killed after him in the same year, because his house fell on him, and he died in the middle of his house. And he was killed by its stones. With a stone he had killed Abel, and by a stone he was killed in righteous judgment. For this reason, it was ordained on the heavenly tablets, with the instrument with which a man kills his neighbor, with the same shall he be killed. In the same manner that he wounded him, in like manner shall they deal with him. In the 25th Jubilee, Noah took to himself a wife, and her name was Imzar, the daughter of Rachiel, the daughter of his father's brother. In the first year, in the 5th week, and in the 3rd year of it, she gave birth to Shem. In the 5th year of it, she gave birth to Ham. And in the 1st year, in the 6th week, she gave birth to Japheth. Thank you for listening, family. God bless you all. Shalom.